Absolutely. So, once again, I'm Brian Lazat. I'm the director of games, media, and entertainment security for Amazon. So, I like to say this: when you think about media companies, right? Amazon doesn't come to your mind. You think, Amazon's a big retailer and AWS. But I like to say that we are the largest media company in the world that no one knows about. When you think about all of the media and entertainment portfolio companies that Amazon has, we're pretty big. We have Prime Video, we have Audible, we got Amazon Games, Amazon Music, Twitch. We have Amazon Studios, MGM Studios, and we also have Arc19 and Wondery. When you combine all of those companies together, we are a pretty large media company. My responsibility is ensuring that we have security throughout. Not only those platforms, but for securing the customer experience. We do have hundreds of millions of customers that enjoy those products and enjoy our content. So, having security that is dedicated to that experience is fundamental. Can you guys see my screens now and we're ready to rock?
I think everything's good. We can see, we can hear. You're on.
Let's do it. So today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Fallout. I don't know if you guys seen this show. It's one of our latest shows that we had on Prime Video. It was an original show, one of our most viewed shows that we've had since launching Prime Video. It's a great series about post apocalyptic world where it talks about human resilience and survival, and it really focuses around three major characters. You have Lucy here in the middle, who's looking to save her dad. You have Maximus over here, who's conflicted. He's to the right, and then you have the Ghoul. Right, he's just somebody that has a mysterious past and all about disruptive and thinking mentality to go along with the apocalyptic world, right? So it's a funny show. I think it's a pretty clever show, and it came from a game, from a game. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Joking, we're not going to talk about that as much as I really want to. Speaking about Fallout is not what we're here for. We're going to talk about how security is a top priority for Amazon, right? And it's not just a top priority for Amazon. It's a top priority for us in games, media, and entertainment to secure characters like Lucy and secure games that we have like New World, and secure new media assets that we have, like we just announced last week, our partnership with the NBA. Now it's live content, right? Thinking about delivering live content to over hundreds of millions of customers, it is not an easy feat. And there are a lot of things from a security perspective that we do need to think about. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is the creative ways that we've come up with in the games, media, and entertainment division for security to align to the business, understand our business partners, understand all of those products, all of those journeys that those developers have to go through to deliver that content, and also create that content. We do have studios that we actually manage, Amazon Studios and MGM Studios, that we are creating content. So I do want to talk a little bit about that. So I do want to give a little bit of history on my journey, just really quickly. So I've been with Amazon for a little over 2 years now. But prior to Amazon, I was the Chief Information Security Officer for HBO Max. I was also the VP of Direct-to-Consumer Security for Warner Media. So Warner Media owns HBO Max. And under the Warner Media umbrella, there was a multitude of media companies. There was CNN and TNT and TBS and HLN and March Madness and all of those components within that media company that I was responsible for. Prior to that, I was the CISO for ZocDoc, which was a healthcare company. It was kind of like the open table for doctors. It was bringing a lot of patients to doctors quicker, and they could book on demand. But then prior to that, I was in media again. I was the CISO for Condé Nast, and then leading security for Sony Music. So I've seen the evolution of the media and entertainment space, from the days of buying DVDs to now digital distribution to just everything that's happening within the media space. So let's get into kind of like, how security is foundational and should be a cornerstone for everybody's leadership, not so much about their progress, but how leadership thinks of it, right? If you read the abstract, we talked a little bit about, security being part of the DNA. It sounds catchy. It's something that everybody can relate to. But what we're trying to highlight here is that if you don't have security mechanisms or practices that are part of the business, when you're partnering with the business and you come and you say, hey, this is what matters from a security perspective, it depends on how you're delivering that message. But if they don't see how that security relates to their business and is helping enable them, it's helping move them forward, it's helping reduce some of the friction that it takes them to actually drive security, it's hard for them to partner with you, right? So making security foundational and part of the DNA is you really, really, really need to learn your business partners, learn how they operate, and see where it makes more sense for security to be part of their world, right? We talk about things like onboarding, right? And doing training. Everybody does training. That's great. But how do you do training that is specific towards that business unit, right? If you try to train somebody in the media and entertainment space on things that are probably more trained in a digital sense, it's not going to relate. They're not going to be able to carry it forward in their day-to-day. So also about embedding security practitioners into the business, right? Not just coming on the onset after everything is kind of like already built or delivered, but so that security practitioners understand how the business is operating, understand where they need to actually make those lever changes or have that influence into the business so that it can develop and drive those things responsibly is incredibly crucial. We'll talk a little bit about, everybody's heard it, shifting left. We'll give some examples on how we do it at Amazon and how it's worked for us and how we do it specifically, within GME. We do only have 30 minutes, totally fine, but I do want to leave some time for questions, so I'll try to be as concise as possible. All right, so it is the foundation. Security is the foundation. It is something that we have to not just prioritize, but how we like to call it at Amazon, it's job zero. It means make security a bigger priority than your number one priority, right? We need to ensure that our customers feel comfortable with our services and that they can entrust us as they use our services, not just on the retail side, but again, in the GME space as they're consuming and enjoying our content. The core principle ensures that security considerations are embedded into the aspect of operations, that they're not coming in just at the end of it. That it has to be something that we understand how the business operates and then align and ensure security is part of that. One key thing that you need to have to get to that foundation and really drive that is leadership commitment. Security starts with having the right leadership team in place, but having that leadership team partner with the business leaders so that the business leaders can push down to the environment how important security is. And then it makes it easier for your security practitioners that are operating in that business to partner with the business and say, hey, your leadership has also made security something that we could that needs to be prioritized. We're here to help. We're here to enable. We're here to drive those business objectives that you have with security embedded in it. I think another area is integration and development. You don't want to be the security team that slows down the business. You don't want to be the security team that slows down innovation or anything like that. So embedding security into the right development processes to ensure that it's there to hold the business accountable, it's there to enable the business to operate fast, but that it also has the security checks it needs. We do a lot of things within our development pipelines to ensure that we're monitoring how developers are coding and how they're shipping that code, but we don't break things before going to production unless it's absolutely necessary. We don't want to slow down the business, right? So we do help the developers throughout their development process so that they feel supported, but they don't feel restricted. We want to give them guardrails so that they can operate and still innovate at the pace of the business. I think establishing a customer-driven security culture is crucial for us as well. When we talk to the business and we talk to our developers, Our developers are at the ground level. They are solving those customer problems and operating and developing these features and products and services and innovating on behalf of the customer. So we want to let our developer and product teams know that we're there for them. So we created this security culture that really drives on customer obsession. And we're there again to help secure the customer experience. And that's why understanding your business so that you can embed security in the right spot with that leadership support is incredibly crucial. Shifting left. Everybody's talked about shifting left, and that goes back into, where can you actually put controls or visibility or guardrails in without impacting the business? We thought of it in 3 different ways, right? Our big thing, yes, we're a media company, but foundationally we're a technology company, and we want to facilitate the developer experience. So we looked at areas in all of our stack where we can give security for free for the developer. So if they are operating within our guardrails, they can innovate, they can consume any of the technology that's helping them deliver these features, and it'll have security embedded in it. They won't have to think about, wait, did I have to do something with a security group? Or did I have to add this particular package to my repo so that I have, a WAF, or did I have my controls in there? We want to give them complete ability that they get security for free. It is tough. It's hard. It has a lot of engineering to actually do it. But the benefit is it allows the developers in the business to run faster, already having security embedded, and they feel more, empowered to drive innovation and to take those type of risks. The other area that we thought about was we want to focus on detection. So as they are consuming these products for free and they get it part of their pipelines, we take on the responsibility of monitoring the entire environment, and we come up with these detections that are specific to the business. In following those, we use those detections to then generate automatic remediations. A lot of our remediations are done at a core level where the developer doesn't even feel it. So if they're missing a patch or it's just an outdated, something within their operating system, it'll update and they will not have to have any intervention whatsoever. That has allowed us to really embrace shift left, take a lot of that security friction away from the developer so they can consistently focus on, obsessing with the customer experience, developing those products and features that help drive that customer experience and generate more customer engagement. So continuous monitoring and improvement, right? We think about, we're a technology company, we're constantly evolving, we are constantly trying to innovate on behalf of our customers. So we do make a lot of changes. Creating a platform or creating a team that is embedded into the business that aligns to those changes so that it knows that these are the product features that are happening. How do we make sure that we have eyes on that? How do we make sure we have the telemetry on that? Is we've created programs and mechanisms to drive that. We are consistently also monitoring, or as I was scanning our environment for new vulnerabilities, scanning for 0 days, and then using our team that is so embedded into the business with monitoring and alerting that it could drive those remediations quickly. And it also helps feed that loop into our automatic remediations. As we are scanning and driving, we could see things that we could remove from the developer experience so that it makes it easier for them to operate. We drive through automation. The other thing is education and awareness. We don't want to be the team that is just sending out, surveys or sending out little online, training exercises. We want to be the security team that feels that we're, driving the business to come to us when they are going to do a new innovation, when they're going to do a new product, when they're going to do new release, and we drive our awareness around that. I talk a little bit more about what we did specifically in the content creation space, but we don't want to be that team that just goes through, folks can go through their training and click on a few things and they get a check mark. We really want the training to be customized so that they feel that we understand their business and that we're part of the team, and really want to help them, enable the business and innovate. And I think the last thing that I want to talk about is, at least in this section for Foundation, is having a proactive staff, having a staff that is constantly seeking that feedback from the business. It's constantly seeking to understand if some of the controls that we're putting in or some of the guardrails that we're putting in are causing things like false positives, that we get that feedback quickly so that we can go back, make those changes, and create and maintain that credibility that we've had with the business, that the things that we are operating at and the things that we are driving for them are effective and they are helping drive the business forward with security. That's part of that culture. It's part of not just the security practitioners, living that culture and experiencing that culture, but the business. That the business understands it is job zero. The security team is helping us enable the business. The security team is helping us operate quickly, and it is something that across all of Amazon, again, not just GME, is embraced. So I do want to talk about the areas of taking. I don't know if you guys can see my screen now. We do have things that we don't want to do for developers, but we know that we have to sometimes when there's like 0 days or when there are areas of that we just can't compromise because we're putting either the customer at risk, putting a brand at risk, or something like that. This is when we come into how do we create applications, and as security practitioners, we actually build tools to help drive that for the developers. It's all about not creating any sort of roadblocks for the developers to actually have to consume security, but it also feels that the power of security in the business allows them to say, I can continuously operate and go as long as I use the tools that the security team is providing, and I will protect the customer data. I will protect our content data. So taking action needs to be at a cautious level that you do not break any sort of production load or anything like that. And we've probably all been there. I'm pretty sure all of us have been on that side, that we've done something that has actually impacted the business. There were a few news things that happened a few weeks ago where we saw security where it did impact multiple businesses, and we just don't want to be on that side. It's hard to reconcile and maintain that trust with the business or with developers if you're constantly breaking their build or constantly breaking their ability to operate. So when you do take action, you need to have those practical applications that are driving security without impacting the business. Daily operations, right? The culture of security and driving security as job zero. Again, it comes from a lot of understanding the business. There are numerous mechanisms that we use across Amazon so that we're constantly understanding when these operations change and when we can actually help the business make efficient operations and drive down that KTLO, that keep the lights on work, so that security doesn't slow them down and doesn't do anything that hurts them, right? So structured onboarding. We do a lot of things for our Amazonians. We do a lot of onboarding to tools that they don't have to think about, whether it's in their pipelines, whether it's part of their IDEs, or whether it's part of their machines that they're using. Again, they get a lot of that for free. Continuous education, we're constantly updating and trying to do outreach. We do a lot of fun things as well, like we do hackathons. We do a lot of things where we invite the business to come participate with the fellow security practitioners so that they feel that we are innovating with them, we're helping them, we're driving things that help them understand that we're not just here to be a checklist or compliance. We really want to build and enable and innovate with them. And then constant feedback. We are constantly looking for feedback from the business. It's kind of like a report card, but we do want that. We do want to make sure that what we're providing, what we're enabling them with, does have the features and controls they need to just drive their business effectively. And then cross training. We are constantly putting security practitioners across the business and embedding them with them. They're not there just to do security work; they actually do some of the business work, so that they can bring that data and that information back to us from a security perspective, and then we could adapt our mechanism and tools to align to that. So again, constant collaboration, constant feedback is important, and it's also beneficial to mature your program so it can grow with the business. So we're going to talk a little bit about some case studies. I do want to talk about the customer viewing experience. We're obsessed with it. we want to make sure that as customers, when they're coming in to see things like Fallout or the Boys or the NBA or the NFL, that they get the most out of the experience. And we also think about our content creator relationships. Content creators have optionality nowadays. They don't have to come to Prime Video or Amazon, and we appreciate that they do. But when they do so, we want to make sure that they feel comfortable and that we are protecting their art. It is art. It is absolute art what they are providing to us. And we want to make sure that from the moment we acquire it to the moment we deliver it, we have security throughout that entire experience. So when we looked at like, all right, so, what do we do so that we can create a training that is specific to the folks that handle content for us? So what we did is, instead of having just your typical, security training, we went out and we created a specific content security training. This training is given to everyone that handles pre-release content. What it does is it walks through how content should be handled. It walks through what are the mechanisms that are in place so that it can be handled responsibly and they can get it for free. It also walks through how they can report suspicious activity on, the entire content creation process. It also gives opportunity for them to reach out to us to say, how can we help in securing it, either from the moment we acquire the content or down to the production site when we are filming on location? Where can security be embedded to help ensure that as you cut the reel from the camera and we're taking that content at the end of the day is data, and we're moving that over to enrich it and make sure it's ready for our customers, that we are part of that, right? And this training really helps those content creators and the whole production crew and everyone that is handling pre-release content understand that there are mechanisms and there are tools specific for them, that again, they don't have to try to reinvent the wheel or try to come up with a different approach when handling this sensitive data. We've created something for them. We have mechanisms, we have tools, and we will help them drive that. Second area that I want to talk about is, I mentioned earlier, we are a technology company. Yes, we're a technology company that is in the media space and changing the way media is delivered, but removing security friction. And I'm sure all of you have heard, hey, you guys, in security, you guys, send over all of these vulnerability reports, or you're sending me a bunch of stuff to action on. And it's hard for developers to prioritize it sometimes. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to really think, well, I have pressures from the business. I also have pressures now from security that tell me I have to do this. There's a balancing act. And what we've done is, in GME specifically, we created specific tools that help drive security issue prioritization across our development organization. We've created an interactive portal, so we've given them an interface that as service team owners, they can go in there. They could find all of the services that they own and understand what vulnerabilities or what actions the security team would like them to take in a priority order. It takes all of the guesswork out of sending vulnerabilities over or sending actions over to the development team, because they know, hey, we're stack ranking it from 1 all the way down. That has really helped our development organization drive the right prioritization. In the first half of the year, we've been able to reduce the time to remediation by 34% because we've offered this interface to our developers and offered to the service teams. Other things that we offer that are part of removing that friction is we do things like dedicated office hours, right? And open up a time so that we're always consistent for our development organization. They can come to us, have a conversation, walk through some of the things that they're seeing. The other things that we do is we do specific threat modeling, during the building and shipping process. One of the other key areas is we've created paved paths so that all of our standard onboarding or our standard security services, we make it easy for the developers to consume. Very, very seamless. Again, removes a lot of friction from the teams to actually do anything. I know we only have a few minutes left, so I know 30 minutes goes by pretty quickly, but I think the biggest thing that I wanted to highlight is having a security culture that not only embraces the business, but enables the business to move forward. embedding your teams with the business so they understand the operations, understand the business growth, the challenges that the business has, and then customizing your security program towards those will really enable for the business to partner with you, really enable the business to feel supported, and really bring the business in so that they could bring security in at the table in the onset of any new initiative, any new feature, any new objective that it's taking, so that security, again, that culture becomes part of the product delivery from the beginning. I know we only have a few minutes, but I do want to leave it for folks to have any Q&A. So I will stop sharing, and I'll take questions if there are some.
So Brian, lots of questions, and I think we'll just add a couple more minutes so we can answer those. By the way, Sharifa's got your back. She is doing an amazing job of answering a variety of questions. And Brian, I'm going to highlight one of her answers, which I thought was brilliant, where she said with the developers, how you and the security team treat the developers as customers, and it's almost a customer service approach, which
Correct.
I thought was brilliant. But if you don't mind, I'm going to ask one or two questions that I thought were really great on the Slack channel. So Justine asks a great question. We have a great understanding of how you're making security easier for the developers by automating processes and things like that. What do you do for the non-technical community? How do you build a security culture in them?
Great question. So in GME specifically, think about kind of like marketing, advertising, right? Those aren't, really heavy into the development community. We also have teams that are dedicated to those critical paths. We understand that business, and a lot of the at least at Amazon, we have a lot of standard tools, again, that is offered to all Amazonians, but things that are bespoke, that like either in marketing or advertising, that they're going to be doing something unique. They understand that security can support them. So those office hours or those teams that are dedicated to their path, they understand that, hey, I want to do something very risky here. I want to, share a little snippet of the boys with this particular media outlet so we can get reviews and stuff like that. Help me transfer that securely. And we work with them to actually do that. We have an intake mechanism that they could submit those type of questions for us, and then we support them throughout that process.
Oh, we're looking around here. If anybody has a question, raise their hand. But Brian, one more. Martina has a great question. For the developers, when you say you're automating security, so to make it as frictionless as possible, can you give an example of some of the things you're automating?
Yeah, I'll give you a good example is like OS patching, right? So if we see things like OS is, again, you're out of cycle, or there's a missing patch or something like that. We have a lot of tools that enable that to happen, and the developer doesn't even realize that it's actually happening, right? They'll just be able to consume that package. It's going to be completely automated, and they won't have to, again, removes all of that friction from the developer. They won't have to actually go through that whole process. So if they, at least if it's at that infrastructure layer, they'll be able to do it. Anything that is above that, that is at the app layer or something that is part of the development team's pipeline, that's something that we could work in conjunction with them to actually do it. There are areas we could take automation in there as well in certain areas, but at least infrastructure OS level, that's perfect example where we do full automation.
All right, Brian, we're going to wrap that up. And then the great thing is we've got Sharifa here. She is just fervently on Slack. So Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Please stay safe. Thank you.